Right now, you're looking at the essential information, the main information that you need to join up with Remind.com. Let me quickly tell you why I even use this app, Remind.com, because you know I've been teaching courses, music and math courses for many years, starting back before most of you were even born. And in the older days, when classes were always in the classroom, I basically saw all the students in class, and most students would come to class every time, and nobody ever, well, occasionally someone might miss a midterm or miss a final exam, and they probably had a good reason, some serious problem that prevented them. But people in general didn't cut the midterm or the final in those days. But during the pandemic, when everything became online, I started to see something that really surprised me, that someone would be in the class, a student, and then not show up for the midterm test, and then or not show up for the final, and you couldn't even reach them. They just kind of disappeared. Because especially with a class that's totally online. Now, I don't want to offend anyone in this class. Maybe we don't need Remind.com. I see that most everybody in here is a senior. There's one junior, and most everybody has jumped on getting into the utheory.com. So maybe I don't need this, but I just wanted to avoid the kind of situation where someone would just disappear. So, you're looking at this information here, the class code. If you go to that website, you go to that URL, remind.com /join, and then here's what you're going to see. You're going to see this kind of a page, or this very same page. And in that box, you put the class code that we just saw a minute ago. I wrote it down here so I wouldn't forget it. And it consists of CE89AF. And I had an at sign in front of it. I'm not sure you need that at symbol in front of it. You could try entering just the code, the 6 characters CE89AF. Now, once you enter that code, you're going to see another screen, which I don't show here, but the screen that you'll see after you enter the code is a list of some courses that I've taught, that I've used for Remind.com for, and music reading is the one you want to join, obviously. You want to join up with the class called music, or not music reading, excuse me, reading music. You want to join reading music. Now, once you do that, you can start to receive the messages from me, or you can send me back replies. You can send a message back to me. Now, the way that this is what I think a number of people in the class have already been emailing me about. They're curious, how is this remind score going to be calculated? How do we calculate the remind score? This is how we're going to do it. And by the way, everybody should get 100 for the remind score. The remind score. It's very easy to get a score of 100, and you'll know why in a minute. Now, the thing is, during the semester, I'm just going to read what I wrote here. I will send out 5 to 10 messages. We don't know exactly how many right now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 messages. Message number 1 might be, it started with the words message 1. Don't forget, assignment beats quarter and eighth notes is due on such and such a date. Or message number 2 might be, message 2. Don't forget the assignment, the treble clef, lines and spaces, is due on June 17th. Those are just some examples of what a message might be from me. Now, what I'm asking you to do is every time you get one of those messages, you send me back a reply so I know that you got it and that you took the time to reply to me about it. And you reply with a message, and this is kind of important because I had trouble with this in a previous semester. You can't just send me some vague reply that doesn't identify what you're replying about. You know what I mean? You need to send me a message that has your name in it and specifying which message you're replying to. You want to send me a message that says, I received message number 1 about the beats, quarter, and eighth notes. Or you want to send me a little short message. You know, these are short messages. It'll take you less than a minute to write them, but put enough information in your message that I know what you're replying about. Your name, I received message 2 about the treble clef, lines and spaces. So that's why now every time you reply to me, see, it all depends on how many. I'm going to show you how the grade's going to be calculated now. Yeah, every time you reply to me, you'll receive 100 points for that particular message. Now, here, what you're looking at right now is a hypothetical situation. Let's say this semester we only sent out 2 messages. This is unlikely, but if you keep it simple, let's say in the 5.5 week semester, summer semester, I only sent you 2 messages, number 1 and number 2. You see at the top of this Excel spreadsheet here, and so there also I have a column for message number 0. Message number 0 just refers to the fact that you joined Remind.com. You automatically get 100 points for message 0 just for joining. So everybody in this class, this could be the class members, 4 people in the class, Arthur Barker, Lighter Darker, Frank Marker, and Parallel Parker. There's 4 people. Now, all 4 of them got a score of a score of 100 on message 0, which is joining up. Message 1, Arthur Barker didn't reply, but he replied to message 2. And the second student here, Lighter Darker, replied to message 1, but not to message 2. The only one that replied to both messages, 1 and 2, was Parallel Parker. Now, and therefore you can see Parallel Parker had an overall score of 100 because he replied to everything. But these other people, they all replied at different times, but basically when it comes down to that, the 3 students above Parallel Parker all replied to 2 messages out of 3. They replied to 2 out of 3, so they had a score of 66.67. Obviously, 2 out of 3 would give you a score of 66.67. Or another way to think of it is I add up the scores and then divide by 3. And that's it. Now, let's take one more hypothetical situation here. Here's another hypothetical situation. This could be that in this whole semester, I sent out 4 messages. So here you see, once again, everyone in column 0 gets 100 just for joining Remind. And Arthur Barker replied to 4 messages. The only one he didn't reply to message number 1. So taken together, those 4 messages plus the automatic message number 0, Arthur Barker really gets credit for 4 out of 5, which gives him a score of 80. And then light or darker only gets credit for 3 messages, including message 0. Frank Marker gets credit for 2 messages only, the message 0 and message 2, so he had a score of only 40. But Parallel Parker replied to all 5. He has the automatic message 0, and then he replied to the message 1, 2, 3, and 4. He gets a score of 100. So I hope that explains how we're going to use Remind.com this semester. It should be, all you have to do is send me back a reply to everything, and you'll get a score of 100 for Remind.